Hello, my name is Janice Sutherland and welcome to Phenomenal Woman, the podcast where we share the success journeys of women who have been there and done that. From the good, the bad, the ugly and everything in between, this is Real Talk by Real Women. We will share with you the highs and lows of their journey and give you honest insight on how you can navigate same with confidence, integrity and a smile. This week, I'm in conversation with Dr. Arusha Campbell-Chambers. Dr. Arusha is a dermatologist and founder of Dermatology Solutions Skin clinics and Medi-Spas. She's a highly accomplished dermatologist, having trained at both the University of the West Indies, Mona, and the St. John's Institute of Dermatology at St. Guy's and St. Thomas's Hospital, King's College, London. In addition, Dr. Campbell-Chambers gained valuable experience in cosmetic dermatology in London, the United States and various Caribbean countries, and she's well versed in many current cosmetic procedures such as laser treatments, chemical peels and microdermabrasion, to name but a few. She's an international fellow of the American Academy of Dermatology and is board certified in aesthetic medicine with the American Academy of Aesthetic Medicine. Dr. Campbell-Chambers is also a member of several other dermatological and medical associations. She established the Dermatology Solutions Skin clinics and Medi-Spas in 2005 in Kingston and has relocated to Montego Bay in the Sagicor Commercial Centre in 2011. She expanded her practice to partner with other professionals to form the Skin, Body and Mind Clinic and Institute to cater to the complete well-being of the individual. Dr. Campbell-Chambers, welcome. So hi Arusha and welcome to this week's edition of Phenomenal Woman. I would have given a short bio at the top of the show, but if I want you can tell me a little bit more about your humble beginnings and how you started.
Hi Janice, thanks so much for the invitation. I mean, it's an honor to be here on your Phenomenal Woman program. Congrats to you on this venture. My beginnings, wow, let me take you way back. So I was born in Cambridge, England, right, when my father was a student. And my mother was working at the time. And then my father decided to not finish his PhD, but was in being nationalistic. He came back to St. Vincent to get involved in politics and that sort of thing. So we actually migrated back to St. Vincent. So I grew up like from the age of 2 in St. Vincent.
Right.
I was really, really blessed to be brought up in a family setting where, service to country, respect, love, humility were like key. I mean, my father had extremely humble beginnings, and his story is a testimony to me that has sort of paved the way for my life. And, it always brings me back to my roots because he grew up very poor. He was a teacher, got involved in the Black Power and all of that movement.
Yeah. Bit of a radical.
Got fired from his job and decided, let me sell my car and go do law. And he had enough for the first year of law school. And then, he didn't have a place to stay. He heard that the hall chairperson would get a free room and the rest is history.
Okay.
Out of faith, and he always takes us back to that place in Barreley in St. Vincent where he grew up in the country in a very small house with, about 9 or 10 of them. And he reminds us about his beginnings all the time.
Right.
So, fast forward to my childhood in St. Vincent, I couldn't ask for anything more in terms of the love and support. My friends growing up in school, I had some amazing girlfriends who were always there for each other, and we kind of gave positive peer pressure, so to speak, like keep each other in line.
Yeah.
And so that has formed who I am today, really,
Excellent.
And I came to Jamaica for medical school, ended up marrying my classmate, and live here in Montego Bay with Dwayne Chambers, the love of my life, a radiologist, and our 2 lovely daughters, Tiffany and Tia.
Excellent. So you have your dermatology clinics, and you're obviously you're fully practicing dermatologist. But what was your key motivator for your career choice?
Yes, that too, I would take me back to my childhood. I was in Girl Guides and into first aid and so forth, and my mother unfortunately dislocated her elbow.
Right.
And I was there on the scene, and I was there able to help put it back in place. And when we went to the doctor, who is like my mentor, Dr. Daniel Garraway in St. Vincent, he commended me on the importance of what I was able to do. And I really believe from that moment, I made a decision, yes, I'm going to be a doctor.
Okay.
Now, entering med school and doing internship was another story. You know, I thought I'd go in there to be an obstetrician gynecologist.
Right.
And when I actually got a taste of it, I'm like, I don't know if I'm cut out for theater. And, you know, then I kept rotating through medicine, surgery, pediatrics. I'm like, no, my heart is too soft for all these things. And, you know, and then at the end, there was an opportunity to do an elective in dermatology.
Right.
And that was it. That I went into those clinics and to see the patients. We got the severe patients. People think a dermatology is just treating some stuff on your face and, you know, sort of very superficial. But there's a lot of serious skin disorders. And when you are able to see your treatment really affecting change in someone's life, because people with skin disease carry their disease on the skin.
Yes.
A lot of times people have stuff going on and they don't know what's going on. But when you carry this on your skin, you realize how much it impacts them. Their psychosocial well-being is really impacted. And so for me, there was nothing more fulfilling than seeing your treatment in action and being able to help someone start from looking on the ground to being able to look you in the eye. You know, it's very rewarding.
Right. And just before we started, you said you had your business, but you started your business after having your first child. So can you tell us a little bit about what your motivators for that?
Yes. So I would also have to tap into my roots because my mom, you know, she's an entrepreneur.
Right.
And she started her own boutique and restaurant and so forth. And my father was in, you know, lawyer and in public service. His whole life was about service. So that's kind of like what has made me who I am. So when I started at the hospital, it was good. Dermatology call, I would admit the other doctors would scoff and say, really now, how intense? But even being called out at 2 a.m. to recite an IV or do something like that, I realized when I was pregnant, I just made this choice for me and my family with the support of my husband. I realized that I wanted to be in more control of my time. Okay. And I wanted to be able to create that balance that I wanted in terms of family, career, you know, church, etc. Right. And so I made the bold move, taking a bet on myself and trusting God after maternity leave, not going back to the hospital. And I've been in private practice. That was in 2006. Right. From 2006 to now. And God has always provided, you know. Excellent. You never know until you take that step. Right. And, you know, if you, you know, as you can tell, I'm a Christian. I gave my life to the Lord at a very early age. And I would recommend that to anybody because I've done things my way. Yeah. And did them God's way and realized that He always seems to make magic out of it and to, you know, make miracles happen. And He has never failed me yet. Thankfully, now, I don't take myself too seriously. I give God all the thanks for equipping me with these talents. We have been able to establish Dermatology Solutions. Yeah. It was originally established in Kingston, Jamaica, at Lane Medical Center in a little office. And just recently at the Caribbean Dermatology Association conference, I met a colleague, a Caribbean colleague, and she reminded me that she was my patient in that small office. Wow. And she commended me for being always so stylish and so, you know, into my patients and, you know, and to see where I've come now to having an office in Montego Bay where we have 2 spaces. We have other specialties coming in. We also have established an office in St. Vincent, my homeland. That was done last month. And also we're going back into Kingston because patients have been asking, Doc, when you coming back to Kingston to visit? And I can't explain to you what the trigger was, but being in tune with God and really feeling led that He's like, it is time. And you see this door and you go through it. He's like, and He'll be specific. He takes you to a place. He will bring you the right person, you know, to you. And the rest is history. So it's been an amazing journey. I continue to walk in faith. And apart from dermatology, I have a whole other aspect of life in the church. I've been asked to be head of the Women of Influence ministry at my local church. Excellent. And at the time when that happened, I knew that this is my purpose. This is what I've been called to do, to motivate women. I've been doing that since I was a child. And it's been fulfilling to, live that out, and also co-founding the Arise and Blossom Women's Organization.
Excellent. Yeah, I did see that.
Keeping busy.
So Arusha, you touched on it. I mean, you're incredibly busy. You have the family, you have the businesses, and you touched on about, making a decision for work-life balance.
Yes.
It's a struggle. Women struggle with that and balance with that. So what tips would you give any woman listening to this to say, look, what's the first thing to do to make sure you kind of get some balance in life?
Okay. The first thing I would recommend to any woman, anybody for that matter, is to put God first.
Right.
It may sound cliche.
Yeah.
But we can try to do the everyday thing, the hustle bustle on our own.
Yes.
But when we put it in God's hands, He makes it possible. So one, I would say, put Him first.
Right.
Second, I would say, be easy on yourself. We tend as women to be so tough on ourselves. I mean, we want to achieve it all. We want to do it all. And we put ourselves through unnecessary guilt.
Yeah.
We have to recognize that in any given day, you will try your best to create that balance. Yeah. And that balance may look differently every day.
Yes.
So in any one day, you cannot be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
And we have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
There are some days you're going to devote more time to being a super mom or a super friend or, a super business person, super wife, whatever it is. But in that moment, something may suffer, and it's okay.
Yes.
It is okay.
Yeah.
I think, and planning too is key. I read this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yes.
By Stephen
Covey.
Covey. And I like what he did with recommendations, because we all do our schedules.
Yes.
But what he recommends is being intentional about how we allocate our time, managing our time. And we also need to manage our energy, because yes, you can have the plan, but sometimes you just don't have the energy for it at the time.
Yeah.
So I think being intentional about having family time, having, girlfriend time, having your God time, your career time, so that when you're doing any one thing, you don't feel guilty that something else is suffering. So those are the practical things that I find that work for me. I'm not perfect, but I try. It's about just making that effort.
And I'd add to that about adding me time, because the other thing we're also very guilty of is we spread ourselves so thinly. As you said, the family, church, husband, kids, and we forget about us. And if we're not sound, then it's, there's no support.
I totally agree with you, Janice. I actually, about 2 or so years ago, gave a talk in St. Vincent. I was so honored to be called back by my alma mater, the girls' high school, to give a talk at their anniversary lecture about empowering Caribbean women to embrace self-care and self-preservation. So you're talking my language. It is key, because you see, we have been cultured as women to be so responsible and to take care of everybody, as you said, that we feel guilty.
Yes.
And even other women, even, well-meaning women in our lives can try to make us feel guilty about how could you be at a spa? Don't you have children to go and look after if you're a bad woman,
Yeah.
And we need to debunk that. If you cannot take care of yourself, just like they said, I said in that talk, when you go on an airplane, and we hear it all the time, and it says put on that oxygen mask first and then you attend to others, that goes through for life as well. We need to get ourselves in order, and then we can give to others, because we're very interdependent.
And I love that metaphor, the oxygen mask. I love that metaphor. So you talked about being tough on yourself. Has there been a time when you've been particularly tough on yourself and with a challenge, and how did you overcome it?
Like that is a daily struggle because one of my imperfections is battling perfectionism.
Right.
Again,
Okay.
go back to my roots. My dad, he's like the ultimate, get it right. If you're doing something, do it right, excel, dot the I's, cross the T's. And so that has been my modus operandi, but I have to recognize that perfectionism is not even of God. We are not called to be perfect. We are imperfect, and in our weaknesses, He is strong. So how I've coped with that is by understanding and trying to see myself like how God sees me.
Right.
So that I am not so super hard on myself. We think we have to be perfect, but we can't. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So it's like chasing a goal that, you know, you can't accomplish. So
yeah.
I have conquered a lot in that regard, and it continues to be a daily exercise of saying it's okay, you're doing well. I think what we can intentionally do too is because when you are a visionary and a leader, and there's so many things on your to-do list at any given time, and there's so many more things that you want to do that you almost feel like you haven't accomplished anything. But that is a lie of the enemy. We need to stop and celebrate our victories and, you know, pat ourselves on the back to say, you know what, look how far you've come. It's worked out. God has taken you through. He's not gonna leave you now. You're doing okay.
And one of the things I realized, well, just when you just talked about that celebrating our victories, is that I know definitely for me, I'm not very good at recognizing where the victories have been, you know, and we don't take time to stop and say, actually, that was a good day. I did good there. You know, that was an achievement. Yes.
What I think I read in Valerie Burton's book, Successful Women Think Differently.
Yeah.
She recommended doing a gratitude journal.
Yes. Yeah.
And so at night you write down, because sometimes if you don't write it down, it's like ministering to yourself when you see it in black and white. Because you intentionally say, these are my successes today, and they don't have to be huge, but celebrate the small ones, you know, in whatever area. And as I said, in different days you're going to achieve successes in different areas, different aspects of your life, and celebrate those. And also tap into persons like my spouse. We are so connected. We've been through so much that we're at this stage in life where we're like, we bounce off of each other. And I would ask him to sort of, and he would be telling me things about myself. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, you know. So it helps too when others can point it out, because, you know, we're humble and so forth, and we kind of taught not to big up yourself too much to seem too cocky, but it's okay to strike that balance between humility and celebrating yourself.
Excellent. So Arusha, so we talked about successes and celebrating. What do you consider to be your biggest career triumph?
Wow. Well, my biggest career triumph, I would say, is being able to set up in St. Vincent. I can't put in words what that meant for me. It was just amazing. I can't believe tears are starting to come into my eyes, but it's you know, it just felt right. And I thank Caribbean Kidney and Medical Center, Dr. Twana Brown, for embracing us. My family, you know, they're like my biggest cheerleaders. No family is perfect, but they really, really give me that cushion and support. My husband, I mean, my husband he had the kids. Normally, my mother-in-law is with us, but we have an illness in the family, and she's taking care of that in Kingston. And he was like super daddy, you know, our girls, you know, he just took care of them, and he pushes me higher. And when you have that support, there is nothing like it. Definitely. Because you don't have to feel guilty that you're away doing something when you have your family back at home.
And it's nice you have the dynamic, because you talk about feeling guilty, that it's always it's seen traditionally as the woman's role to look after the children, even if you are working, and you know you still have to do the superwoman piece. But it's good that you have that relationship where it's a given, you know, that if you're busy, that, you know, husband steps in, because you're a partnership. And that's really really important. So I love that. I love that.
Thank you so much. I mean, I still am traditional in that. Of course, I believe my husband is the head of the household, and you know, he's like our king and protect and you know, predominant provider and all that. And so I still have my roles of, you know, taking care of the home and so forth. But it's just that every day you may not be able to do it, and delegation is key. If you're going to try to do a lot, you have to have good support in different areas so that you can get it done, because you alone, you can't do everything.
So one of the things you touched on, Arusha, was embracing your imperfections and perfectionism. So many of us are known for maybe self-sabotaging and undermining our own abilities. How do you navigate maybe your own confidence issues and get out of this vicious circle?
I have learned to recognize that it's not all about me, as I said.
Yeah.
And I can do all things through Christ who
Right.
strengthens me. So that takes some of the burden off of me,
Right.
you know? And it's when I see myself getting into a pity party or something,
yeah,
I conquer that negative thought. I try to do it in 5 seconds. Our pastor, Apostle Mary Wildish, she says you have 5 seconds to get that negative thought out of your head that
right.
you can't do it. You're not good enough.
Yeah.
You're
yeah.
too fat. You're too this. You're too that. Because you don't entertain these things. The minute you give audience to it, it's a downward spiral.
Right.
So what you do, you make positive affirmations. You look yourself in the mirror.
Yeah.
You say these things, I can do all things. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm beautiful. I'm equipped. I'm valuable. I'm loved.
Excellent.
All that good stuff.
Excellent. So what's maybe a success quote or a mantra that you would use, and why is it important to you?
I will sound very repetitive at this point, but I think you can guess by now. I can do all things through Christ. Because trust me, Janice, I could tell you, we can talk on and on for stories.
Yes.
I would give one. I may be judged for it, but it may empower somebody.
Yeah.
This year, so I was driving a Honda CRV, and don't get caught up in the material aspect.
Yeah.
I'm showing you the God behind it.
Yeah.
And I was happy. I'm happy they're going about. And I got this strong sense that you're going to change your vehicle. You're going to change your vehicle. And I fought it. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm not ready to change my vehicle. I'm not, ready for that. And then one day I'm there in my hairdresser's chair, and she's like, Doc, you're not selling your vehicle. I want to buy it. So I'm like, okay, let me explore this. So cut a long story short, everything fell into place where I was introduced to buying this pre-owned Benz. The person told me, would you like an ML? I said, what's an ML? And they're like a Mercedes SUV, though. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think I could afford it. And I said, I'll think about it. Do you know that night, Janice, I went home and I was just going through over and over, like, me in a Benz,
Yeah.
It just wasn't on the to-do list. But, when I looked up, I saw my vision board. So a year or two ago, I had actually cut out pictures from magazines and framed it with my daughters about nice things that would be nice one day, one day in life. When I looked up, I gasped. I'm like, oh my goodness, the picture I cut out for the vehicle was a Mercedes-Benz SUV. I completely forgot about this.
Yeah.
And to cut a long story short, as God would have it, I was able to buy a 2017 Mercedes SUV.
Nice.
With Supernatural getting it for almost the price of, much, much less than it's valued for. Right? So, and I'm driving it now, and it's a reminder. When I sat in that vehicle and the agent was there next to me, I couldn't talk.
Yeah.
Like an idiot, I just saw tears flowing, tears. I'm like, I'm trying not to cry. And I was a mess, but he's like, and I understand, Doc, I understand. You work hard, you deserve it.
Yeah.
And, because I knew, I'm like, oh my God, I know this is you, because this didn't come from me and my own sort of perceptions.
Yes.
But, all things are possible. So that's just one little testimony that I'm normally very private. I can't believe I even went there. But, people have real problems in the world. I'm not saying, No. Using it to show you how amazing and specific God can be.
And it's powerful with the vision boards, because if people haven't used it before, it literally is just having a vision pictorially of what you see for whatever maybe your life or your future. And I am a big component of vision boards. So yes, I'm with you on that. So looking back, Arusha, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would change or do differently?
Knowing what I know now, I would relax a little more. I would tell myself, girl, this is gonna pass. You need to just relax. It's not the end, you go back to your little teenage breakup, whatever, that
Yes.
seems like, oh, you don't want to wake up the next morning and how can life possibly go on?
Yeah.
And you tell yourself, you're going to be okay, everything works together for your good. So I would probably exercise my faith a little more and not worry as much.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you could choose your own mentor, who would it be and why?
Wow. I would have to say Valerie Burton. I love her. I follow her. She's a motivational speaker. She's an author. She's a life coach.
Right.
She's a Christian. And I have learned a lot of tips from her. I love her books, Successful Women Think Differently, Successful Women Speak Differently. And so, I think there are others too. There are many others. My mom has been my biggest mentor. Yes. And I don't say that to be cliche, but, it's so amazing when I look back at when I was a child, the things that used to embarrass me about her going in the supermarket and making a friend in a minute and chatting. I'm like, oh my goodness, Mom, you'd have to talk to everybody. And now I find myself being that person. My laughter I've been told about, it's my mom's. And, so I do look up to her a lot as well and thank her for helping to make me into the person I am today.
One of the things I've talked about in the past is being unconscious influencers. And we don't know, and certainly like your mother or as a parent or just a woman at work, is what our acts and how we are and how we interact with people, what we leave, what thoughts we leave them with, and unconsciously we're influencing them. They're watching us, but we don't realize that. And it's like through times like that, you actually then see it becoming an unconscious influencer. So that's beautiful. That happens with all of us. So it's great. It's great.
It's so true.
So Arusha, throughout your career, what would you say are the 3 things you've learned about yourself?
I've learned that I'm resilient. I've learned that I would bend, but I'm not gonna break.
Excellent.
I have also learned that I have very strong leadership qualities, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay to manage it responsibly.
Yes.
There's a difference between being a manager and being a leader.
Very much.
I seek to be a leader.
Okay.
So it's not just about bossing around somebody. Yeah. And we've seen the word boss take a positive connotation as, a boss lady and so forth.
Yeah.
But it's not just about bossing somebody. It's about developing them.
Yes.
Okay. And I think what I've learned is that, if I can help somebody, lift them up, let them stand on my shoulders, power to both of us. It can be a win-win. We can succeed without being one having to go down. And the third thing I've learned about myself is my capacity for empathy.
Right.
You see, in dermatology,
and
how that is such a strength.
Yeah.
In dermatology, I feel like a psychologist sometimes, because it's not just about just giving some medications to fix skin, but really about empowering. I find myself naturally doing that. I know it's a gift from God, and I use it to help others. And I find myself naturally not tolerating negative language in my office. So my patients, they go out smiling. And when I hear them talk about me, I'm like, they're talking about me like I'm some, you still don't get it. The impact that you're having on others, because, you're humble. But to hear them say, yes, my friend recommended you because, you're this and you're nice and and there's just something fulfilling about that. So I've learned a lot about myself over the years, and I've only just begun.
Yeah, definitely. And a couple of things I picked up there was the first thing was the women working together, being more of advocates, because again, I think culturally or societally, we have been taught that I suppose a successful woman is our enemy. And I'm a firm believer that we need to not just mentor, we need to advocate. So if we see a woman doing a good job and, we recognize it and we speak up about it and we support that way. Hence, one of the things I'm doing with Phenomenal Woman is about, look, there are different ways of being successful. There are different ways of getting there, and recognize that, and recognize the women around us as for what they're doing. And the second thing I picked up there, which was really interesting, was the boss or being bossy? Because as a woman, again, that has different connotations.
Yes, certainly.
With the double bind. So we're either, excuse my language, we're either the bitch if we're too strong, or if we're too weak. If we're too soft, we're weak. So how do you navigate that?
With God, trust me, I have learned to, as I said, be okay and feel comfortable in the fact that you're a leader.
Yes.
You don't shy away from it. And guess what? I really believe that there is a leader in everyone, because each of us can influence somebody, no matter how small you think it is.
Yes.
Daily, you influence somebody.
Yeah.
So some are born with strong qualities, some can develop it, but there is a leader in everyone. And in our church this year, our mandate is creating transformational leaders, or developing transformational leaders.
Yes.
So one, it is okay to recognize those skills, but at the same time, I tend to remind my team members that, look, if I point out something, it's about developing you. Don't take it personally. Don't see it as an attack. I'm trying to lift you up.
Excellent.
And we try every day. You cannot. Now, there's some persons you have to recognize too, that you meet persons every day and they have gone through stuff.
Yeah.
And so you are sort of sometimes the recipient of some of that.
Very much.
So sometimes it's not all about you. Some persons will not be comfortable with you being comfortable in your own skin and you being a leader. And you have to recognize you can't do everything for everyone. You can't change that. So you do the serenity prayer and you just try your best every day. Regarding what you said about lifting up others, Janice, I commend you. I mean, recognizing the successes of women, we can't do enough of it. As I said, in 2011, my mom and I co-founded the Rise and Blossom Women's organization. It just started from me being on Facebook and being a bit turned off by some of the negativity that I saw. And I'm like, no, let me do something to make a little difference,
Yeah.
And so we started this empowerment movement where all we do is uplift.
Right.
And our dream was to start women's conferences and so forth. This year, that's a whole other testimony, Janice. This year, like 2 months, when was it? In April, May, I knew I was going home in July for a vacation, for like a family get together. And the Holy Spirit dropped it in me. You guys are going to put on this women conference. I'm like, that's my vacation. That wasn't the plan on the to-do list. But guess what? We did it. God showed me it's going to be overflow. You're going to have overflow capacity. Same, we had to get extra chairs to seat the women. Wow. And what we did, we had speakers. When I sat in that conference, I was like, oh my goodness, these women licked it out of the park. And we had a speaker on, being an entrepreneur, transforming your business dream into reality, on your legal rights as a woman, on motherhood in modern society. I shared on the skin, loving and caring for your skin. My mom shared on empowerment, arising, you can do all things. And we can't have enough of this because we still have too much violence against women in society. We still are in a paternalistic society where
very much
we have to advocate against women thinking it's okay to be abused. It's actually expected and normal. Our young girls are too overexposed to exploitation. The list goes on. So I commend you. Kudos to you.
Yes. Very much that. I love that. And one of the things I do kind of outside Phenomenal Woman is I actually do have a coaching program for women who have suffered domestic abuse.
Oh, wow.
Because just because you've kind of got out of it and you have the survivor thriver situation, actually there's more to you. There's a step above. You still have a lot to give. And sometimes just having that direction as to where do you go next after being in that situation. So yes, I am a big believer and advocate of that. So we're coming up to the end, Arusha, and I'm just loving this conversation. We could go on for hours. But a couple of quick questions. What's your definition of success?
My definition of success would be living your purpose, your God-given purpose. Okay, success to me is not a destination, but it is a journey. So I think once you are living out that purpose, you will see your success. We cannot measure success just by material things, because we've seen it. We've seen wealthy persons commit suicide.
Right.
That doesn't sound so successful. And I'm not knocking wealth, our daddy is God. So, we can get anything we want. But I'm just saying, success, I think you're successful when you're walking in purpose.
Yes. And lastly, what does it mean to you to be your own hero?
It means being your biggest cheerleader.
Excellent.
It means shutting down the negative thoughts. It means no matter what you've been through, you're not defined by them. You're not defined by your beginning. Okay?
Yes.
No matter what you've been through, your latter shall be greater.
Yeah.
It means looking yourself in the mirror and saying, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am valuable. I have something to contribute. Right? Yeah. And, it just means empowering yourself and not being too tough on yourself. And just treating others as you would like to be treated, but recognizing that you need to take care of yourself first as well.
Excellent. Well, that was my last question, Arusha. And as I said, I have loved this conversation with you. It's been great it's been great speaking to you this week. And I hope you have a fantastic day.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you so much. I feel very honored to be here, and you've taken me down memory lane, and I've explored things I thought I wouldn't go into, but I hope that it can empower someone.
Excellent.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I wish you all the best in your endeavor. Keep soaring.
Thank you.
Okay, and thank you.
Excellent.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Well, I really enjoyed that conversation with Dr. Arusha Campbell-Chambers, who talked to us today about all the work she's doing in the dermatological field within the Caribbean. So that remains to say, thank you all for listening. As ever, it's my pleasure to show up here every week and connect with like-minded women like yourself who want to live their life to its fullest and be empowered to take their career to the next level. As always, remember, you're the author of your own story. You control the narrative and you have the power to give your life story a happy ending, so own it. If you've been inspired to make your next move in life or career and would like support from me in helping you turn your dreams into actions, then visit me at janicesutherland.com to book your free consultation. I specialise in helping all women to develop as effective and remarkable individuals in their chosen careers. Be the best they can be to achieve goals, succeed, and develop the confidence to take action and achieve positive change in their professional and personal life. Visit me, janicesutherland.com, for more information on how I can help empower you to transform your dreams into actions. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard, please leave a comment and a rating on iTunes, as this enables the show to be exposed to more women. And please continue to share with all the other phenomenal women you know. Until next time.